Hi, welcome to Ranger Country. I'm Peter.
And I'm Lawrence.
And we're here today. We have Matt with us from Thomas Jacks with some very, very fine thermal equipment. And we're going to basically demyth it, aren't we? As best we can.
I think that's the plan, yeah. Hopefully here to straighten things out with you guys.
Let's get into it. So Matt's brought with him 3 models of the Pixfra Mile 2 model range. We're sort of more entry-level thermal, and they're in the price range that it shows you that it's not scary to go for thermal anymore. It doesn't have to be stupidly expensive, and you can get some good results, obviously, as we'll get to footage now. So, yeah, let's have a little look at them. So the ones that we've got here are, you'll have to remind me, we've got a cheap one, a medium one, and the sort of more expensive one here. But they're not expensive at all, are they?
Correct, yeah. So as you said there, you've got your most affordable working through a mid-range to a top range. For anybody that doesn't really understand thermal out there, what really adds the value on these devices is the sensor and the lens. So we're looking at real bottom of the range here, so M207, so price point of £399. Then we go up to an M413, price point of £799, but running a bigger sensor. And then smallest lens option in the 640 512 option at £1,189. All doing the same job, just doing it to a different degree, as I'm sure you'll show in the videos that we're about to.
It's quite surprising, definitely, between the 3 models, isn't it?
Yeah, I think basically when you're getting bigger resolution, you're obviously getting much more detail in the image. In terms of application, these all work in the same way, but for something like this, you might use for just ratting or rabbiting at close distances, maybe 30, 40 yards. And obviously on the sort of the higher spec products, you'd be able to push out at much bigger distances, 500, 400 yards in terms of depending on sort of what you're sighting, whether that's rabbits, rats or foxes at bigger distances.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously for those of us that sort of zoned out when you said all them numbers.
Sorry.
We'll soon get into... No, that's fine. That's good. It shows it's for everyone. Everyone, those that know and those that don't know. We'll show you the results. We've taken some footage already.
It's quite interesting.
We'll splice in some of the results,
and we've put it against the standard camera, haven't we?
Yes.
Standard SLR camera. So
it's quite shocking. I know when you first got here, the first footage that we got, we were just looking around. We thought, bang on, that's the best footage we're going to get. It was of 2 birds up into the trees. Couldn't see it at all with the naked eye. Couldn't see it with the camera. Whereas these 3, they stood out like sore thumbs.
And the distance for that we're looking at was about 75 yards, I think, wasn't it? They were above the back of our range and over to the side. So good 75.
Yeah. So like you were saying, even with the cheaper 7mm, that shows you that there's something there. And then you can put your night vision on and identify it from there.
Yeah, and I think also as well, you don't necessarily have to always just think about these products being used at night.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, we've just taken that footage at low light, but not in the pitch black. And it actually shows that in the day, if you were using an air rifle for just sort of basic sort of rabbit shooting at 30 yards, you'd easily be able to use a 7mm in the peak of the day.
Yeah, 100%.
Same concept, basically.
Now, what surprised me, we looked into the woods, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I looked in, and there was immediately 2 rats, mice, or whatever they were, quite small creatures, plain sight when you've got one of these, but you would have not a clue with a dark floor of the wood, all the leaf litter in there, and it's really surprising.
From just having a little bit of a play tonight, do you understand now how much sort of human error probably goes on when people aren't using these devices?
It's incredible. I mean, we've been ratting before, haven't we? I've had a thermal spotter. You've had a night vision.
Yeah.
You've looked into the woods to say, no, there's nothing here.
There. Carry on.
And I've looked with a thermal, and I say there's 5 within 6-7 meters of us.
Yeah.
And you just talk you in and go, oh yeah, wow, and with a rat looking away from you with a night vision, you've got very little chance of seeing it, have you?
Yeah, 100%. If you haven't got the glow of its eyes in the eye
looking at you, yeah.
There we go. And obviously you mentioned price. Now, 400 quid may sound a lot to some people, and yeah, fair enough. But as a as an addition to your hobby, as an addition to your tool. Certainly we know a lot of customers that would find that quite affordable. And thermals do a job that you just can't get anywhere else.
I think it's a game changer, isn't it?
Yeah,
massively.
Yeah.
And for £400, like £400, I mean, look, it's not showing you the finest details of the hairs and the way it moves and all the real sort of like real fine edges, but like you just said earlier, heat detection.
Yeah,
there's something there. Let's see find out what it is.
Exactly, and it's all relative at the end of the day. If you're spending more money on maybe your optic or your night vision scope, or maybe even your air rifle in general, if you're spending more money, then there's more warrant to spend higher prices on your optics, like your thermals. But if you're spending less money, then you can now get something at a much more affordable price point. When 4 years ago you had to spend $2,000 just to get anything.
Yeah,
absolutely. So, now that brings us into the whole, well, why wouldn't you just use a thermal scope then? Mm-hmm. And I think we can sort of talk to that. Is the problem comes back to is the flip side of the beauty of them. You can look into thick undergrowth and see that there's something there. But if you've got a thermal scope and you just take a shot, that could be a cat. That could be
anything. You can't identify. It could be a hedgehog.
There could be a piece of metal in there. You could be shooting through a fence and you get a ricochet back at you. Whereas a thermal spotter and then a night vision scope, you don't get any of that.
Certainly the best of both worlds, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly. Unless you spend real high money, right? Like, you're going to spend good cash on something thermal-wise to get the identification capacity to be able to be 100% sure of what you're looking at, which is why, more commonly, you pair a thermal spotter with a night vision scope.
Exactly. Yeah,
definitely.
You did bring along one of the more expensive. I'm going to brand it because obviously it's the same brand. One of the Pulsar big ones. You said it starts with a 4.
Which one? They brought one of the Teloses along. Yeah, so I mean, you're talking that thermal image, and you're costing somewhere in the sort of the £4,000 range. I mean, there's both sides to it. You don't have to spend crazy money, which is why obviously Pixfra is such a great brand, because they can produce units at such a more affordable price point, especially for air rifle use. But there are products obviously within the Pulsar range that could also be used as well. So I mean, it really depends how deep are your pockets and how much you're prepared to spend. That's what it's all about, really.
Yeah,
so,
and what you need it for, really.
Yeah, exactly. People ask us all the time, obviously from a supplier's point of view, what's a product I should buy? Well, we could say the most expensive thing that we do, but it might not be what's right for you. So what are you using it for? How much money do you want to spend? What kind of application are you going to be using it for? These are the questions that hopefully customers can ask you guys, and you can give them the information, and hopefully they can buy the right thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So shall we talk briefly about some of the... I'm just trying to give our editor a bit of a chance to sort of splice in some of the footage that we've taken today.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously we mentioned about those first pair of birds, some form, I don't know what they were, up in the trees. All 3 of these picked them out really well, even the less expensive one. We also had a hare at some amount of distance. That's got to be 200 yards, was it?
Oh, down the track, that was at least,
We got a fox down the track, didn't we, as well? Or was that a hare?
It was something.
Yeah, I didn't see that one.
I only looked through the thermals, so I couldn't identify it at that sort of range.
Yeah.
That's where the 7mm was a little bit lacking, but the other 2 you could see that there was something there, and the big one I think you could just about see what it was. But yeah, they were certainly stretching their legs at that. What else did we have? We had a little bit of rat in the.
We did ratty on mice. It's. We didn't physically see it, did we? Enough to identify it again, but there was definitely 2 objects. Two good heat sources moving about.
Yeah.
We just stumbled across them, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then obviously we only spotted them because we were using the thermal. And obviously different levels of clarity depending on sort of the sensor resolution that you're using. So obviously I don't think we mentioned these are the smallest lens types in each one of the sensors that we're doing. So there are more variations than these 3, but we just wanted to keep it quite simple, didn't we, by using the smallest lens across each one.
It can be quite overcomplicated, can't it?
We wanted to keep it simple for us. is what the plan was. Yeah.
There is so much to it, and that you could go as far as you wanted to, couldn't you?
Yeah.
With the specifications and the knowledge, and
And sometimes people get bored by that. I'm sure the viewers here, we could talk about specs, sizes, resolutions, all this kind of stuff. But actually, like we said, the footage that we've just taken is more important for people.
What
to get
can
an
you say?
idea.
Yeah.
What does it do? Yeah. How good is it? Definitely.
Well, I mean, the footage speaks for itself.
Yeah.
If there isn't anything we haven't talked about, I'm sure we'll put it in now, sort of thing. But otherwise, yeah, I think we're all set.
Yeah.
Anything else you wanted to add?
Not really. I just mean the only thing for me is obviously just if you need any advice or help, come and see you guys. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm going to get you trained up, nice and knowledgeable.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
You've got a job on.
So I'm sure when you come in and ask questions, I'll be straight on the phone. But yeah, no, I mean,
We will.
if you need anything, then
Speed dial.
come and speak, because there's endless opportunities for people to get involved and start using this kit if they're not using it already.
We must re-emphasise it is a game changer, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we will have some open sessions on the range in the evening for people to come along and.
But it doesn't have to be evening.
No, it doesn't. No.
All day.
So,
That is the biggest thing for me. It's a big misconception that night vision and the thermal is only used in the dark. It is used 24/7. It is a reduction in time and reduction in disturbance in the field. And those are the two major things that you would buy these products for in improving the quality of your experience, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for coming.
Yes,
thank you very much for showing them all to us.
Thanks for having me.
And yeah, thank you all very much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.
Thank you.